Live from the Stream Center in Tampa, Florida, the home of News Channel 8, your official Bucs station. This is Bucs Bonus on WFLA Now, powered by 1-800-ASK-GARY.
The stakes are high for Tampa Bay. This is it, guys. Can the Bucs finish their season with a win and earn a spot in the playoffs? And will we see Baker Mayfield on the gridiron against the Carolina Panthers? We tell you everything you need to know about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers right here, right now on Bucs Bonus. I'm your host, Eileen Natchik, alongside my teammates and your Bucs insiders, Dan Lucas and Karen Loftus. Hello.
Thank you.
Happy week 18.
There you go. Look, Tampa Bay missed a prime opportunity, right, to clinch that spot in the playoffs against the Saints. It was just, to me, embarrassing to watch them play like they did, at least in the first half, because they are way better than how they played. What was running through your mind when you were watching that game?
Well, two teams had days they would rather forget. The Eagles were the other team, and they're in the hole as well going into Week 18. But I thought that Tristan Wirfs said something after the game that I was thinking throughout the game, particularly for the younger guys. You know, when you get on a roll in this game, sometimes you forget about how humbling this game can be.
Yeah.
And I won't say the Bucs weren't prepared. I won't say they weren't trying. But when things don't go well in a certain game, sometimes it's not as easy to flip a switch or adjust, change your attitude. The Saints came here and just absolutely
hit him in the mouth.
Out-physicaled. I don't even know if that's grammar. The Bucs.
It is now.
It is. From the get-go, the Saints said to the Bucs, "We're coming here to win this game, because if we don't win this game, we're out. We're done. We're out." Mm-hmm. So that's the effort they got from the Saints.
How about you, Karen?
Yeah, it was tough to see early on. You have 4 games where their offense was just trending in the right direction. They were doing so well. I think it was like 3 straight games that Baker did not throw an interception, and then they turned in a performance where the offense had 4 turnovers, and the defense got no takeaways. And it was just this drop off of, wait, where is this coming from? Because it was like the upward trend, and you sort of think that it's going to keep going that way. And it did not. It's a little bit of a regression. But the thing that I was brought up with a couple of the guys today is, does it give you confidence knowing that you were able to win those games a couple weeks ago, the division games that were must-win games? Your backs were up against the wall then, to put you in this position to still be in contention for the title. Like, can you draw from that knowing that you have the ability to level up when it's absolutely necessary? And they were like, yeah, we've gone through adversity before. So
the disappointing thing for me on the turnovers were what they were, how they happened.
Right.
Rashad White knows better.
Yeah.
They work on that drill. And when you go to training camp and fans can go watch the practices, and what seems like mundane position group drills are designed for muscle memory and reps of what happened when you turn a corner and you're holding the ball and you're tucking it close to the side on the sideline side, which is proper. Now you're ready for the person coming behind who's swatting at the football. They work on this all the time.
Yeah, the last time he fumbled was week 3.
Right, and then the underthrown deep ball to Trey Palmer. I know Baker regretted that. He mentioned it after the game. Those are the things that we haven't seen in this stretch of great football they've been playing, and that was disappointing. Those are the signs of it's not your day when things like that start happening.
That was kind of the main message after that game, too. All of them said collectively, like, it's just one of those days. And I mean, I think people forget, whether you're a good football team or a bad football team, those types of things happen. You're going to have those games. But Rashad White, you mentioned, Dan, it was funny. Someone asked him what happened, and he goes, man, the same thing that always gets me. So he was well aware that that shouldn't have happened, and especially with the Saints defense.
He doesn't need a talking to after that.
No.
By the time he got to the sideline, he had already probably been harder on himself than anyone's going to tell them in a film review.
Yeah, 100%. It was a bad day for the Bucs.
Yeah.
And man, it was so hard to watch that game too, because I'll tell you what, it was double the traffic, double the crowd. I mean, I think every seat was filled in that stadium. It was
those Louisiana partiers were here all weekend. They did the double header at Ray J. They were ready to go.
Hey, look, they had a good weekend with
yes, they did.
LSU winning too. But yeah, terrible game for the Bucs. Flush it, move on. You know, that was kind of the message today in the locker room, right, Karen? You were there?
Yeah, absolutely. It was, they've moved on from it. Yeah. Absolutely. It's like there's only one thing ahead. It's everything on the line. Right. All the marbles, as Tristan said.
I don't see a hangover. I agree with you, Karen. Yeah. And the reason I don't is because they don't need help to get in.
Right.
It would be different. It would be different if they had to win and somebody else had to lose.
Like the 4-part deal.
Right. Exactly. Because of losing this game, that's a mental hurdle that would be tough to get over.
Yeah, but don't you think it almost adds more pressure to it, and then you're kind of like you have that in your mind, and
I think the perfect opponent is the Carolina Panthers. Not so much because the Panthers have struggled, but because the Bucs would likely go into this Carolina game with that lackadaisical approach, and I think, I would expect that it's the Bucs that go into this game physical, ready to punch someone in the face. I would hope. Yeah. You would think from the Bucs' perspective that served as essentially a wake-up call.
Yeah,
and you get a do-over. Don't mess this one up.
They've got Jonathan Mingo, if I said that correctly, right? He's on IR, one of their top receivers. Right. So that's even just another thing, but. I mean, the Panthers have a nasty defense. Baker was saying that today, and that's, they only beat the Panthers by 3 points last time they faced them.
Right.
It was close.
So, but this game, aside from playoff implications, is a kind of a cool story with Baker going back too. So, I mean, I can only imagine, with him being back in Carolina, whether he's injured or not, like you said, Karen, it took, I will be ready.
Yeah.
So
I feel like there's something. I feel like there's a story he would love to tell, but he's just not going to tell it.
Yeah.
Because he chooses his words, and then he always reiterates how much he enjoyed his time with the Rams.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he would tell.
Maybe he'll tell us after the game. If they win.
I don't know, because I think he wants to be a Bucs quarterback for years to come, and he knows he has to play the Panthers every year.
Can we request to have him mic'd up for this game?
Oh man,
exactly. That would be great.
Good line. The funniest. I forgot to post this on Twitter, but I took a clip of him and Greg Olsen at the Saints game, because Greg Olsen was there, obviously, and Greg grabbed him and he goes, "Man, you smell good." And I was like, I don't know how I just got this video.
Wait, Greg said that
Yes, he did, to Baker Mayfield.
Wait, was this after?
It was pregame.
Oh, okay. Good.
And Baker was just kind of like, "Yeah, dude, how you been?
Watch the ribs, brother."
Yeah, watch the ribs. No, it was before the game, but I'll post that on Twitter for you guys, because I completely forgot. But yeah, I mean, let's take a look at this Panthers Bucs game. What needs to go right? What needs to not happen? Dan, Karen, take the floor. Either one of you guys.
Oh, I think they need points right away, and I believe it was Mike Evans who pointed out the fact that during the good times there recently, they were scoring early, and they were on schedule, as we like to say, when it comes to football, and they just were not right for an entire half of football the other day. So they've got to come away with points early.
Touchdown on their opening drive for the first time this season. How about that?
Get a lead.
Yeah.
Just get a lead.
Yeah.
Get a lead and play that way. You can do it. It can be done.
Yeah,
I tell you what,
big.
if they really do it right, get a massive lead and get Baker out of there.
Yeah.
And then just get ready for the week after. But I have a feeling this game's going to go down to the absolute last possession.
I think so too.
Yes.
I always circle turnovers. I circled it for the Saints game, and just seeing how big of a factor that was in the Saints game. It's like they need to handle the turnover battle and significantly come out on the plus side of the differential.
Yeah, I think the most frustrating thing for fans is that this team is way better than what they're doing, right, and how they're playing, and they need to play like they did in week 14, 15, 16. I mean, where did that go against the Saints? And that's kind of the difference between good and great, Good and great teams is a great team would not let that happen. But then you get into the weeds of they're.
I always
got a lot of
caution
rookies
fans.
in.
I always caution fans because we've all in our industry we have the three of us covered different teams, NFL teams, and it's funny. Every team, its own fan base is saying the same thing the Bucs fans are saying. So they're not alone. It's not the end of the world, and you're not the best either. So I've said all season, patience, let it play out. And this was when you were asked about Baker. Is it time to pull Baker? No, it's not.
No, it's not.
You let this play out. Yeah. And I think that from Panthers' perspective, they're letting it play out, and they're going to have a bunch of changes here next week. But this is it. This is it. I think the cream will rise. This team is so talented.
Yeah. But I will go ahead, Karen.
I was going to say one of the things that I was curious about, and I asked Tristan Wirfs about this. I said, obviously, the priority is to protect Baker and make sure he has all the time in the world. But can this be a galvanizing thing if you know that he's pushing through this injury, divisions on the line, former team, and he's like, yeah, absolutely. And think about how much or how highly the offensive line and Baker's teammates have spoken about his toughness and his grit. And now it's the opportunity for his teammates
kind of lift him
up this time. And that can be a really
it's a great point.
Galvanizing thing in addition to the division title. Like there's so many points of that level up the motivation.
Yeah, no, so many reasons to watch this game. If you know what I mean, there's so many reasons to watch this game. But I'm going to validate the Bucs fans' feelings here. If you don't trust what's going to happen on Sunday, I understand. I get it. We don't know what we're going to get. Okay, validating your feelings. It's going to be okay. But as Karen said, maybe there's going to be some extra oomph this Sunday. Guys, we need to check on Buckify. That's who I'm concerned about.
Yes.
Let's bring him in.
Okay.
Happy New Year, Arlene. You and the gang. Bucs bonus gang. Hey, look, we still in this bad boy. And keep in mind, last week we pretty much gave the... Sorry, I hate to say it, but we gave the Saints that game last week. They shouldn't have beat us. I mean, we had a lot of things going on in our mind. New Year's and everything was at home, but we had too many turnovers on a team that's desperate to do what we've done the last 2 years. We've been division titles. They desperate, and we shouldn't have never gave them that many an opportunity. But thank God we get a chance to close out against the Panthers, and we have the answer to beat the Panthers. This Sunday, I can't wait. This game, we're going to get it on. The Buccaneers are so serious, 2024, so we can forget about what happened in 2023, the last game. All right, and then you're going to get your stats from Casey Sloan, and she's going to give you the stats of the week. This is Buckify Burt. I'm out. I promise you, we're taking it to the promised land. Get ready for the playoff. Bye.
Hi guys, long time no see, and of course, when I come back, the Bucs lose. However, they still have another chance to clinch the playoff berth, and I still have a player of the week, so let's get into it. Despite having 2 interceptions, Mayfield completed 22 of his 33 passes for 309 yards with 2 touchdowns, earning him a 91.6 passer rating, his 10th game with a passer rating of 90 or higher this season, joining Tom Brady as the only players in franchise history with 10 or more such games in a single season. And with Mayfield's 2 touchdown passes, he also surpassed John Freeman and tied Jameis Winston for the 4th most single-season passing touchdowns in team history. At the end of Sunday's 1 p.m. games, Mayfield was tied for 3rd in the NFL in passing touchdowns, making him this week's KC Stat Chat Player of the Week. I'll see you guys next week.
It's a good stat.
It is.
Buckified's good, though. He's here.
We have the answers for the Panthers. That's close enough to rhyme. That was catchy.
And we still in this thing.
Yeah.
That's what I like that one. We still in this thing.
Baker achieved career highs the other day, passing yards and touchdown passes in a season.
Yeah.
So that's a big picture item for him. And he did it in 16 games, which when you want to compare generations or eras, he didn't. It's not like he had to go get the 17th game and get his 110 yards or whatever. He got over 3,900 for the season, 20. He's getting close to 30 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
So these are numbers for the conversation in the offseason. But the thing that impressed me was as that game went along and the Bucs began to get going a little bit on offense, and I know that the game dictated pass, he was able to find Mike Evans and Chris Godwin at points in the second half, really, when in the first half those guys were non-existent. The Saints were terrific in taking, especially Evans, out of the game. You saw a lot of targets to Trey Palmer.
I like the way Trey's playing too.
Because of that. So, a fourth down pass to Godwin that was really good, and then the touchdown pass to Godwin. So those are the names. That to me was kind of okay. This isn't falling apart here.
Yeah, was asleep for 3 quarters.
Right, exactly.
And the thing that stood out to me, I know we want to look forward, but since we're going back for a second, the promising thing about the one drive, the Trey Palmer touchdown drive, it was 91 yards in 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that is very encouraging to see them drive down the field when they needed to. And granted, the Saints might have been playing off a little bit and a little bit different because they were up by 20 points. But I think that's a positive takeaway, is them being able to move the ball so quickly and find the end zone.
They'll need to take those positives into this week. If you're watching, you can see that we have the NFC South standings graphic up. If you're listening, you probably already know Bucs 8-8, Saints 8-8, Falcons 7-9, Panthers, and it doesn't really matter 2-14. No. What needs to happen, guys?
There is a scenario if the Bucs tie the Carolina Panthers. They need the Saints to lose. If that happens, they're the division champs. If they tie and the Saints win their last game, the Saints are the division champs. The Bucs would then need the Seahawks and the Packers to lose their games, and they would be a wild card team.
Look at you remembering the scenarios. I was pulling it up, so I was like, in case I had it.
Mathematically possible through the magic of ties that they become a wild card team. I can assure you this. They do not want to get into that scenario.
No.
Go out there and win the game. Get your 9th win. Last year they were 8-9. And do your best and get ready for a wild card game. And hopefully these veterans can, get a good showing in that game, which is likely going to be against the Eagles unless something crazy happens in the Eagles and Cowboys 2 final games. They don't play each other this weekend, but I forget who the Cowboys are playing, but it's in the division. But they're expected to throttle their team. So it looks like Dallas is going to wrap up the NFC East. So
Commanders.
There you go. So it's looking like an Eagles at Bucs wild card game if they win Sunday at Carolina. So
okay,
there we go.
All right. Well, how about injuries, right? Baker, kind of touched on him already, obviously, but if you want, you can check out on our website at WFLA.com. Casey Sloan, she has this article as well, not just Baker Mayfield, but the Bucs have one last shot to secure the playoff spot. That rhymed. I don't know if she did it on purpose, but it rhymed. So,
Shot.
Yeah, so that's on our website.
Spot.
Yeah.
And I just got what Casey just posted, the one that I did today that has the latest about Baker's injury.
Okay, there you go.
Quotes from him, quotes from Rashad and Coach Bowles, and just sort of laying out what that looks like and how he's feeling.
I'll say this, and we haven't mentioned his name the entire time. Kyle Trask. This is a critical practice week for him to get going, get more reps. Todd Bowles said he's going to get more reps than he would have. I just feel like Kyle Trask needs to be on standby all the time on Sunday. I'm putting Baker on the field on Sunday, but I think Trask needs to be there. There's too much at stake to have a drop off at the quarterback position.
Yeah, for the reason of the injury, but also the scenario that you mentioned earlier where, an ideal world for the Bucs, they get up by 30 points, Baker gets the rest, and then Kyle comes in and is able to maintain that.
Yeah. And remember, these are ribs. Has anyone ever banged a rib out there? It is excruciating.
Like even to breathe.
Yes.
Like your lungs.
Actually, my dad did. My dad, he told me it was like the worst experience of his life.
Not going away anytime soon. So let's presume a Bucs victory on Sunday. Then you got a wild card game. The rib is going to be a factor. And if they win that, they're going to go on the road for the divisional playoffs. The rib will be a factor in that as well. So the rib is not going away. As far as the Bucs go, Baker's ribs it's going to be a concern.
Tell you what, the adrenaline that this man has going into these games, I doubt he'll even be able to feel it. Honestly,
he was saying today, it's like sort of what's the key is like to stay warm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's like whether it's like heating pads or something, just like keep your body warm and loose.
I didn't look at what's the weather supposed to be like there? Do we know? I did not look.
Colder than here, probably.
Colder than here, although it's been
Let's
chilly here.
Look.
There you go.
Carolina weather. I'm going to guess.
Thank you, El
actually,
Nino.
58.
Oh, the snowstorm is further north.
Oh, God. No, it's
Gotcha,
46.
yes.
It's 46. No, well, this is just in general. Let's look at Charlotte specifically.
Okay, there you go. I'm sorry to make us all meteorologists.
Any other
to the Google
injuries that stand out to you guys that might be important? I know Tristan was DNP, but I'm sure that was just rest.
Shoulder situation for him. Todd Bowles said Monday guys are trending in the right direction, and the first guy you saw today was Shaquille Barrett full. Carlton Davis didn't practice, still in the concussion protocol, so I would imagine that's an end of the week type deal for him, but probably an encouraging sign.
Sunday 56, low of 31. So
1 o'clock game, so they'll probably get the best of that.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I
Not
see
terrible.
Brian Burns for the Panthers. He was full, so that's big for them. J.C. Horn.
I'm not sure the Bucs.
Limited.
I don't think they faced Tommy Tremble in the first game, if I'm not mistaken. The tight end for Carolina. I bring it up because
he's not on here.
I bring it up because last week against the Saints, it was the reemergence of the tight end killing the Bucs. And in the not so recent past, that was always a thing. Saints would do it. The Panthers would do it. Just shred the Bucs with the tight end, and it happened this past Sunday. So that's something to keep your eye on. Panthers are going to throw a lot to their tight ends probably.
Yeah, well, we'll be here next week as well, giving you guys an episode regardless of what happens. So we've had fun with y'all so far. We'll be talking next week. Obviously, tune in on Spotify, Apple, if you're listening, watching YouTube. But we are here every Wednesday bringing you the latest on your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And as always, hopefully you guys had a great holiday. Great New Year's.
Yeah,
and everybody's
Happy New
fully
Year,
recovered.
everybody.
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Yeah, and hopefully we're talking about a win next week. So we'll see you guys then.